Hello. Hello, friends. Oops, sorry about that. It's Julia Mazer. It's Tuesday night, so it's time for Tuesday Night Stampin' Club. I see me on the screen there, so I think we have good lighting. I'm going to pull this up here and see if I have anybody watching. Leave me a comment. Okay, so I got it all up here. I think I can see if you're watching, and if you have any comments or any questions, I will try to answer any questions as we go along. So tonight I have a slider card, so it's a fun fold, and I have two samples here, and it's pretty easy to make, and we are going to use the oh my goodness, Classic Label Punch, I think this is called. Let me double check in the catalog here. It is Retiring. And this card, Classic Label Punch, yes. This card is the whole reason that I actually bought this punch. So you are gonna wanna get this before it goes away. Let me show you the fun slider card. So you have a nice little card here and a little ribbon pull tab, and you pull it up and you have another little hidden message. Isn't that fun? Okay, and you can write your greetings in the little letter that you'd like to write to your recipient on the back. Okay, and I am using the Butterfly Gala, which is a retiring stamp set, and the coordinating punch that goes with that, and this is the, I think, Butterfly Duo? Yep, no, Butterfly Duet. So this is retiring as well. That's what this card came from. And then this card uses a suite that is retiring, and I have a lot of the items from the suite, the World of Good suite. And I love this beautiful world set. This is retiring. It is a bundle that has coordinating framelits, and I'll show you the designer series paper and the embossing folder and the ribbon. I love this set. And unfortunately, you know, we're not world travelers these days, but one day we'll be back traveling the world, and it would make great scrapbook pages, and I love the masculine feel of it too. So this one says, "You make the world a better place," and you slide it up. "Thank you for being part of mine." Okay, so these are fun slider cards, kind of like a double track slider. I'll show you how we're gonna make it. This one is pretty simple, decorated, and then this one is a stepped up version. There's a lot of elements on here, and I will show you all the different elements. Okay, so let's get started. What I have here is a piece of my Mossy Meadow cardstock, and it is cut at 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and then I scored it at 5 1/2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my trimmer here. I'm not trimming anything, and I'm not really scoring anything. I am going to use my bone folder. I am going to line this up at 1 3/4, and I just need to make a little mark here. You can use a pencil. I found it easier to use my bone folder. Let's line that up, and I'm just putting that through the groove. I am not going from end to end. I'm just kind of going in the middle. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll use the pencil for the other part. And then 4 1/4. So it's your choice what you would like to do. I'm kind of starting where this line is. I just had a hard time with the pencil getting it through there. Oh, that was pretty good. I guess the pencil, you know, you can erase, but the score line, you can't really do much about it. But it's gonna get covered up, it's okay. All right, so I have just 2 lines here. I'm gonna take my Classic Label Punch, and I'm going to turn my cardstock this way, my card base this way, and I'm going to put in my cardstock through the punch, and it's flush against the end of the punch there, and I'm punching in between those 2 lines. Now I need to punch again. I want this little pointy end of the label to match up with that line, so I'm just punching a little bit extra, and I have to do the same thing down at the bottom. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you, when you get punches, you want to make sure that you punch some cardstock, scrap cardstock, because the punches have some excess oil sometimes on there. So you don't want that to get on your project. So just punch a whole bunch of little scraps. Those are just gonna go on the floor, okay? And that'll get all the oils from the manufacturing process off of that. Okay, so again, I'm gonna flip my cardstock over and do the same thing on the other side. Oh, that one lined up pretty quick, pretty close there. Just a little teeny bit more. Okay, so now I have my double track. And you can erase this line if you want, but like I said, it's gonna get covered up, and that score line is gonna get covered up. This is gonna be the front of the card. The bottom of the card is gonna be the score line. So it's gonna be closed at the bottom and it's open at the top. I am going to use my 1.5 inch circle punch. Our circle punches are retiring. I'm very sad. It's a staple. Maybe everybody already has a circle punch, so people don't need any more circle punches. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna start with the larger piece. This is, good thing I got my grid paper here so I can measure this, 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Okay, and this is going to be, where's my sample here? So you can kind of see along. That's this part. My sample has the basic white on the background, and I wanted to try it with a different color. So I swapped out the color. Well, hello, Iris. You love the slider cards? I'm so glad. Tell me what you think. Do you like the misty moonlight background versus the white? I think I do. So I have a piece of Designer Series paper here. It's 3 by 3. I'm gonna take my adhesive and just put some adhesive on the back. Oh, before I do that, I need to make this little pull tab. So I have a little piece of this ribbon. This is the faux suede ribbon, and this is also retiring. It's very sad. Lots of things retiring, but that means that there's fun new stuff coming. And oh my goodness, I love our new in colors. I will be showcasing those next week on Tuesday night Stampin' Club. I do not have them yet. Oh, but they are yummy. I'll just say that. Oh, maybe you can have a little sneak peek. I'll show you my Starbucks cup that I got. This is a soft succulent. So Stampin' Up! Is very on trend. Okay, I am going to adhere this with my little ribbon tab pull up at the top. Okay, so that's going to be the inside part. This is going to be on the front here, and then we're going to cover it up. So this part is the focal area, and I'm just going to get that layer. So we kind of have 3 layers. I'm going to decorate that part in just a minute. So how do you make this slider card? Well, we already got the double track, and then I have these little strips of paper. They're 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches, okay? And you need some dimensionals, okay? So I'm gonna take 1 strips of paper. I'm gonna kind of just eyeball this and put it on the inside of the card there and lay it flat. I'm gonna take 2 dimensionals, and these are hexagons, and I want to make sure that the flat sides are flush with the edge of the label, or the negative part of the label, if you will. Okay, and they fit just perfectly. All right, so I have 2 dimensionals. Now I'm gonna make a little sandwich. So I'm gonna take off the covering of those dimensionals, and I'm gonna take my other piece of strip there, and I'm gonna make a little sandwich. And then this is the mechanism that slides, okay? So I'm gonna bring it towards the bottom, and then I'm gonna put some tear and tape. I keep wanting to call this sticky strip, but it hasn't been sticky strip for a long time. And if you are looking at the retirement list, you might see that sticky strip is on there, but they are just reconfiguring it, so it will still be around. I love tear and tape. It's very strong. It holds our ribbon down, and it holds elements down really nicely, like especially when they're 3D or they're moving like this. Okay, so here is the little mechanism. I have adhesive on both of those strips. We're gonna start at the bottom and we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna line it up so that it's flush at the top. And then I'm holding it down here. I'm just flipping up the bottom and I'm going to peel off the covering of the tear and tape, and then I'm gonna press it down, okay? And wait till you see this. It's gonna slide, okay? So before we go on, I'm going to close my card. I'm gonna use my tear and tape again, and I'm gonna make sure that it goes as close to the edge as possible, because you don't want to close the card so it gets stuck on this, and then it won't slide. Okay, I know this is a cool card, isn't it? And you know, I'm a simple stamper. I like fun folds every once in a while, so when they're not too intricate or too many steps, I will definitely try them out. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull that up and we're gonna put our little sentiment. This is going to adhere to this little piece. Okay, so we want to make sure that it's even. I had some trouble earlier with it was a little crooked. So I'm going to try to get this as even as possible. This is going to get covered up so you're not even going to see it. Okay, and you want to make sure that you place it down so you can see your greeting. And you don't want, something else I learned, you don't want any sticky strip still sticking. So I gotta grab my paper snips. There they are. Okay, and I'm just gonna trim off these edges because I put a little bit too much adhesive and we don't want that to stick. I was having problems with my sample opening and closing it after I put it together, and I figured out that's why. Okay, so here's our slider. Fun, huh? Okay, now let's decorate our front. The way you're gonna hide this is we're gonna put some dimensionals on this piece, okay, so it pops up and there's enough room for this part to slide back and forth. Now our dimensionals have these great edges, and this part is going to be, you know, the leftovers. This part is great for what we need it for, okay? I was using the full dimensional, but sometimes they get stuck. So these are gonna be just perfect, these narrow pieces. Waste not, want not. And these will, you wanna get them as close to the edge as you can so that little sliding piece does not get stuck on your dimensionals. All right, so I always, once I get my dimensionals done, I do keep those edges for shaker cards, slider cards, all that fun stuff. Okay, now you'll see on my sample here that I put this extra piece down here. I ran this through the embossing folder. It is, what is the embossing folder called? It's crumpled paper, but it's not called crumpled paper. Old world paper. So, you know, if you crumple up paper and lay it flat, that's what this embossing folder is. I don't know why it's retiring. I think it's beautiful. I used it with my peonies a few weeks ago to give it some texture. And I felt like this card needed a little bit of texture on the bottom. So I ran it through the embossing folder, and then I'm just gonna tear a little piece off because of this mechanism. I don't want it to get stuck. So I'm gonna kind of make a U shape here so that piece doesn't get stuck, okay? And it'll be hiding. So I'm going to grab my dimensionals again. Now you don't need to add this piece to your card. You know, this card is just a wow card, lots of layers and totally stepped up. You can make it simple. That's okay. All right, and I did take some glue dots to put there so it would stick to that focal point layer. Okay, so I'm going to do that before I put that focal point piece on. Hope it lines up. Yeah, that'll line up. Okay, I'm going to take off the backing of my dimensionals. And where do I want to put this? I think I want to go like that. We're going to put that, scooch that down a little bit, make sure, there we go. Okay, let's make sure it slides. It sure does. Okay, now how am I going to decorate this? Well, I used the dies and I cut out on my cut and emboss machine using the brass foil. This is also retiring. It coordinates with the designer series paper in this whole set. So this is a great set of designer series paper. The World of Good specialty designer series paper, because it has that brass in it. So one side has no metal embellishment on it, if you will, and some of the sheets have the brass embossing on it. So embossing already done for you. So this is great paper, and the faux suede ribbon coordinates with that. And what I did here was I took one of my mini Stampin' Dimensionals on there, and if I was thinking about it, I would have ran this through we have adhesive sheets so that you can kind of make stickers out of these, and then the adhesive is already on there. But I typically forget to do that, so that's where the liquid glue comes in handy. I punched out, or I used a circle die on the paper. There is a stamp for the globe. You could also do that. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along the edges here. The glue dots are just a little too big. The fine tip glue would also work. This is just so intricate and fine that be careful putting your glue on there. Okay, and you don't want to do the whole thing because I'm going to pop this up. So I put the glue on the part that is going to go over the globe. Okay, I should probably have gotten my silicone mat so this wouldn't stick down to the paper, but that's okay. I think we got this. We can shimmy this around, not like that. That's not what I wanted to do. That's okay. Okay. Actually, I should have did what I did when I made my sample, was I took my dimensionals and put the globe down first and then laid the brass globe holder thing over it. Now I got, you know, glue on my fingers and everything sticking to me. That's okay. All right. Okay, this guy's gonna go right here. And then I have a little piece here and I'm just gonna tear off the ends. Actually, I wanna tear, I'm right-handed, so I'm tearing up with my right hand, and that's how I know I get the tearing part showing. Okay, I'm gonna use dimensionals on this too, on the ends. And this is gonna go over like that. And then I have a strip somewhere of my ribbon. Well, I'll just cut another one because it went away. Yes, this set is retiring. This World of Good is retiring. It's very, very sad. I'm gonna put just a little strip of glue. I love this set. It's a nice masculine feel. And you know, I was a language teacher, so I love anything to do with traveling and globes and all that fun stuff. Then, oh, see, I kind of grabbed stuff and everything flew all over the place. I had a little circle cut and it's gone now. That's okay. It was just another little embellishment. You make the world a better place. I'm gonna put some dimensionals on the top there, and then I'm gonna put a glue dot here to adhere it to that layer. I don't need glue dots. I don't need a dimensional on the bottom because this part is popped up, okay? There we go. You make the world a better place. Thank you for being part of mine. So there is our fun double slider card. I hope that you learned something tonight, and if you want to get this classic label punch, let me see. I'll give you the number for it. You can use this month's hostess code when you go to my online store, which is www.jmazer.stampinup.net. And this is the classic label punch, which is 141491. Okay, and like I said, I bought this punch because I saw this slider card and I just made it seem so easy. So there we go. And where's my other butterfly card? See, everything just goes flying. Okay, well, you get 2 of these cards. Let me know if you ever make a, yes, the paper is retiring too. The World of Good paper. It is a whole suite with the paper and the stamp set. And you have until May 3rd to purchase those, or while supplies last. So thank you for joining me tonight, and I'd love to see any slider cards that you make. You can always post a little picture in the comment section here, and let me know what you think, even if you're watching the video on replay. Thanks so much for joining me for Tuesday Night Stampin' Club, and be sure to check back next Tuesday. I'll have the in colors. You'll get to see them in action. Have a great night. Thanks. Bye-bye.